would likely be get like me in the hallway, long way from the lunchroom and crush groove through my struggle bubble like hot fluid.
What's going on? What's going on? Y'all know who it is. It's your guy Big PJR, and you know who I got to my left.
Spain like the country.
And this is the Informal Podcast.
That's right.
Make sure y'all tap in, subscribe, follow, like on all social media platforms. Go to the YouTube page, run those numbers up.
Run them up.
Check us out on all audio platforms as well. That's Odyssey, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, you
everywhere.
Everywhere. So check us out on all streaming platforms. And we are recording live from the Culture Mix Studios. So if you need a space to shoot your podcast or film anything you got going on or host a mixer, reach out to us. We'll put the information below at the Culture Mix Studio.
That's right.
And as y'all can see, we got a lovely guest in the building today.
Okay.
That's right.
As y'all know, here on this platform, we like to highlight and promote the positivity that's going on in our community. And we also like to inform y'all of certain businesses and services that are going on and just share information that we think in our community is not often shared and often talked about. So we like to have those conversations over here. So in case y'all don't know this lovely lady, she's very present on social media. The lovely, the beautiful Fanaysha White. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. That was a good introduction.
Oh yeah. You know, we do our research. We do our research. So we definitely want to thank you for coming in and joining the conversation. We're gonna dive into the individual first before we talk about the services and businesses this is to provide. Because if y'all follow her, she active. But before we get to how you got to that, what is it, the millionaire mindset?
Yeah, I'm on my way to $1 million.
I like that.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
On that way to $1 million.
But we want to know before you got to that mindset.
Yeah.
We always know it's a journey.
Yeah.
Right, before we get there mentally.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes you gotta go through things, or like I say, grow through things.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. Okay. I'm feeling that.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
That's a shirt right there.
Yeah.
On God motivation. Make sure y'all check it out.
Okay.
It's coming soon. Coming soon. So, for those who don't know who Fanaysha White is, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hey everybody. My name is Fanaysha White, and I'm RVA Next Millionaire. Okay. RVA Next Millionaire. Okay. And just a little bit about myself. I started my entrepreneur journey at 22.
Okay.
It was actually by accident. Yeah.
Entrepreneur by accident.
I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur.
You know what? I want to hear this story, but I think I know where it's going though. But tell me how you figured out that you was an entrepreneur.
Right.
Dang, that's funny. I don't. Okay, so
there's always a switch.
It is a switch.
Because I can tell you when mine was, but I want you to.
Okay, so even I started working at 14 years old, right? And when I was younger, I already knew that I was gonna be like a certain type of person. I didn't know what the person was. It was just a feeling.
Right.
And so I started working at 14 at Kroger's, and I was like, when I get older, I'm gonna be paying all my mama and daddy bills. Like I'm gonna be, I just knew I was gonna be.
So the mindset was already there.
The mindset was already there. So when I was working at Kroger's, I'd give her like $50, or we're gonna, because I just wanted to be, now back in the day, $50. I mean, it was a good stretch,
Right.
And I'm giving it to her like every week. I'm just trying to give her something to put in her pocket, and I just remember like I knew I was gonna be successful, but I knew I wasn't gonna go to college. Because I didn't like school.
Right.
I was like, it's boring. Like I didn't feel like I didn't feel connected to anything in school besides math. That was the only thing I felt connected to.
That's a good one to connect to.
That's crazy.
right.
Yeah.
And
that's my favorite subject.
Yeah, that's my favorite subject. And I don't know, I just kept on working, and I lost my mom at 17 years old. And I just remember that feeling. I can't remember like vividly what happened because I was still 17. I just graduated high school.
Still trying to figure out life.
Still it hasn't even been a month. It was like less than a month after I graduated.
Wow.
And I just remember the struggle of burying her. I just remember them struggling to bury her. And I remember that next month we were like, okay, how are we going to pay the rent? Like my sister, we was trying to figure it out. Like, my dad, he was still kind of like transitioning then. So we all was just like, okay, well, what are we gonna do to pay the rent? You know, and
Cause life keep on life, you know.
And life still kept on life, and then eventually, you know, we had to move in a couple of months because we couldn't afford it without her. And I just remember feeling like when I leave this earth, I want to make sure that my kids are squared away. Because I feel like, you know, the type of woman that my mother was, she was a server. So she would serve you, she would give you her last. And, you know, people like that, they don't have boundaries. You know, they are different type of feminine. You know, they don't know when to say, okay, I'm exhausted now. You use up my resources.
Usually put
you know,
you before them.
Yes,
usually.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I just remember like, oh, I'm not gonna be like that. You know, it was just motivation. You know, and once I had my daughter, I remember I was working at T-Mobile at the time. And you know, I was getting a couple coins.
Hey, you know,
You know, I was doing a little something.
I think I feel a I think I feel a businesswoman coming out.
You know, so T-Mobile, it was like running your own business. You had to keep up with your stats. You had to do your follow-ups. You had to keep up with your own like numbers, right? So I'm like, okay, I got this. It was a hard job because it almost felt like sales a little bit. But I used to watch my dad sell, so I wasn't scared to ask for the money.
This wasn't new to you.
No, it wasn't. So everything with my dad teaching me, like me watching my dad, and then my mother drive and my dad drive, they all just came together then, you know.
What did your dad do? I'm sorry.
He was a salesman.
Okay.
So he just sell like pictures. He was a salesman.
Okay.
He could sell you anything. He could sell you. He could sell you
What
that
a
shirt.
little whale.
Like that. Look,
What?
he was a salesman.
Okay.
He was a very good salesman. Like my dad can really sell.
Nice.
And I used to watch him in the mall. Yeah. So in the mall with like, you know, some of my sisters would come, but I would come the most because I always wanted to learn how to make money. You know, because I'm like, you know, even as a kid, I wanted to make money. I wanted to be rich as a kid.
Nice.
You know, and I don't know, just working there, I was doing really good for myself. And then me and my child's father, we was together, and they had these incentives where you can make money, like bonuses. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm like, okay, let me just, you know, let me just try to get better with that. Now, before I got to the bonus part, my lights got cut off. That's what like reactivated, because I was really comfortable at T-Mobile because I'm 21 at this time. My checks is like $3,500 every month.
Yeah, because I'm about to say say you get money.
Yeah, I'm 22 at $3,500 a month. And then you know, like after my lights got cut off, it's like I felt that feeling of how it felt when our water got cut off when I was living with my, you know, when my mom was living, and I couldn't understand. I was like, how is our water off if she goes to work? Like I couldn't understand. I couldn't connect the two. And y'all know how black households is. They don't talk about money.
Nope. Don't ever talk about money management.
Oh, this is how the lights got cut off. This is how I got.
This how much this bill
I got
was.
more month than money. We don't have that conversation, and I think it's so important that this year we have those conversations with our family.
Yes.
And this is not just for talk. Like for real, sit your family down and have that conversation. What is the money goal? What is the building goal? What is the strategy that if you leave first, what is the portfolio going to look like? What does retirement look like for us? You know what I'm saying? And the conversation is uncomfortable in the beginning, but eventually it'll be normal.
You have to have it.
You got to have those conversations, you know. And when my lights got cut off, and my daughter, she just woke up like she was just sweaty. And I just remember that feeling like, I would never go through this again, like ever. And it just activated something in me. And from there, I was trying to max out on every bonus, and I was looking for this, you know, like somebody to help me with budgeting, but I couldn't find anybody. And then the people that I did find, they was white, and I was like, and I mean, back in the day, this was my mindset. How somebody white gonna teach me how to do, how to get out the struggle? You don't know what I done been through. Like you on the other side, you know. And that's when I found Tiffany the Budgetista, and I was going through like all of these challenges, and then I kept on going. I was paying off debt. I was learning how to budget, and I was just falling in love with the process. And then like a couple of months later, I did like over 7K just working there, like with my bonuses. Yeah, so I was really I made like $7,000 that month at T-Mobile at like 22, 23.
So the whole budgeting and all that, and I'm sure saving and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was just natural. That just
No, I had to learn.
Oh, you
I had to
learned
learn
this.
through the Tiffany. I learned
Okay, and
Tiffany.
she was. It
she
was.
But I
Yeah,
was
you
so
tips
locked
and stuff.
in. Like I was doing her free challenges. I was just locked in, and I was just reading. And then I got obsessed with was my boy best friend? No, that was okay. So that was after. No, so once I found Tiffany,
Right.
I just was like obsessed with just like budgeting. You know what I'm saying? But my male best friend, he introduced me to Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's when it like switched that. Oh, I'm a modern day slave. I didn't know that. I didn't know that because in the book. Hold on, wait.
No,
in
you
the
right,
book,
no.
no.
Because I
In
got
the
this for get
book.
home. I got this for get home.
No, in the book, he talk about self-employment. You know, he talk about being a business owner, being an investor, and just working for somebody.
Right.
And in my mind, while I'm reading this, I said, I have to get to the other side of the chart. I don't know how, but I need to get to the other side.
Got to.
And that's when I just started getting into personal development. I wasn't really going out like that, but I stopped doing everything. I stopped buying like unnecessary stuff, designer, all of that stuff. Just none.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested. Yeah, so that's how the light,
That's how
it switched for me. And my best friend, he said, Fanaysha, I gave 3 to 5 people that same advice to get that book, and you are the only one that took action on it.
Wow.
Well, we like to say all the time that you can lead them to the water. You can't
Yeah.
get them to drink.
Right.
That is true.
You can provide them the information. You still have to do the work.
Yeah, that is true.
And I'm glad you touched on that because I want to talk about that. Right. What was that process like? Right. Because people like to talk about the other end when it's all glorified, the big house, I got the car, I got the money. But we like to highlight that to let people know, oh no, it's gonna be some dams.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have to get your mind right mentally before you get to that next level.
Yeah.
So talk about when you realize, okay, I can't do this no more. I got the book, I got the tools. Now what's life like once you put these things in motion? Because people think, oh, you got it figured out, you got it.
Yeah.
No, life has a funny way of testing you.
Yeah. And I think that's so important that you say that because most people, like you said, they see the end results, but they don't see all the trials and tribulations.
The walk.
So they don't see the walk. And in my mind, after just reading and studying, I said, well, me and my child's father is not working out. So let me just focus on me. Let me just focus on me. Let me just figure this out. I never knew that I couldn't see myself living without him because it was just always just us.
That's what you mean.
And it was just so hard. Like, it was so hard. It's like, here I am. I went from watching TV with this man to reading all day, every day. And imagine, and again, he had a copy of the same book. The only difference is I did not stop. Now, his journey is different from mine, and I understand that.
Right.
I understand. But I'm elevating mentally. I'm obsessed. I can't sleep. I don't want to do nothing but read, get better, save, get out of debt,
Educate
learn,
yourself, right?
educate. Like, I'm so locked in at this point. And it was almost like it's like I was growing, but it's like I was also like leaving something, like something felt like it was dying inside of me. Because again, this is my husband. Like this, this is not nobody that I'm just,
I get it.
So it was very hard. It's like I'm listening to audios, but I'm crying listening to the audios because I know I have to leave this person behind because we don't have the same vision anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was very hard, and I made a decision. I was like, I'm gonna go live with my sisters, and I'm gonna be homeless until I'm gonna be living on couches until I figure this out.
See?
And I was living on couches for 4 years. I was living on couches for 4 years, but I was learning about money. I was saving. I was getting out of debt. I was learning about credit, business. Again, I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I thought the EIN number was the articles. So the whole time I'm thinking, I got a little something going on.
Yeah.
The business ain't even registered. I'm like, so I don't know what I was doing the first couple of years. So I just was just winging it for real.
We all like that.
Yeah.
We all like it the first few years.
Yeah,
it's a learning process.
Yeah, the first few years really don't count. I mean, it count.
Business is educational.
Yeah.
I tell people,
Yeah.
It's the one job that if you allow it to, you will keep teaching yourself.
Yeah.
You'll keep learning. You'll keep saying, oh wait, I can do that. I didn't know about that. Always knew things
Yeah.
to learn about it.
And always, and again, once I started getting into like budgeting and I started talking about it online, people was like, oh, can you help me? And in my head, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna help you. I'm bad with money. Because again, every time something came in my pocket, it's going away, but I'm learning.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, let me just start this company. And I was just at home just trying to just write down different names, and that's when my first company came about, Believe in Your Budget. And it was like a budgeting company. That's what I was originally known for, Believe in Your Budget.
Yeah.
Oh my God, rest in peace. That used to be my baby.
Believe in your budget.
Yes, that used to be my baby. And that's when I just started helping people, and they started giving me testimonies, and I was like, well, God, why would you? I done been in shelters, like I'm living on couches. Like, you really think I'm qualified to do this? Like, I'm budgeting, trying to get up out here now.
Come on.
So
You know how God works. The most unqualified is the
what
qualified.
is that?
That's how it work.
And it's, oh my
You
God,
know
let
he
me
gonna
tell
give you
y'all
the
this.
Yep.
I was having a epiphany this morning,
Mm.
and I said, out of all things that you can do for me, God, why do you want me here? Like, I have no financial literacy in my family. Why do you want to bother me?
Right.
I'm a great motivational speaker. I can just be. Do you not want? Why I can't do that? And I don't know. I was talking to him this morning, but I literally asked that this morning. Out of all the people you want to be a millionaire, I mean, I'm grateful that you put it in my head.
Right.
But I don't have nobody, like, where is,
Let me.
not why me, because I'm great. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not
oh,
saying
no,
why
I
me.
get it.
And I'm not trying to pull up on God.
No.
But I'm also in the same breath.
Pull up on God.
I'm like, God, what's up?
Hey, I ain't mad at you for asking,
That makes sense.
but I'm gonna flip it on
It
you.
makes sense.
Why not you? That's I'm gonna flip it. But before you answer that, the reason, and I said this to the gentleman that we had on, DJ Reese. God puts the people in places he knows going to do his work. He don't put, because I think what has happened over the last years or so is that people who have been taking advantage, manipulating people, that has been exposed. And now he's presenting and prepping his soldiers who he know, like you just said, you gave him all the praise. You don't even realize what banner you're sitting right behind.
And I didn't even know.
On God motivation, when faith meets fashion. So he puts people like us in these places because we're not going to give the glory to ourselves. We're not going to give the glory to some mystical person.
Yeah.
We know where it came from, and we're going to tell our stories truthfully, and that's why we need to tell it, because it's going to motivate somebody who's sleeping in their car, somebody who feels like, because I'm in the basement of my mom's house and I've been here for 30 years, you know what I'm saying? That no, you can still change.
Yeah, you can.
You can, but he needs people to show, because he know how his people is. He gotta see us
Right, yeah,
looking a
that's
certain
true.
way, because then they gonna be like, I don't believe it.
Yeah,
But when they see it and we speaking the way we speaking and we're very authentic,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's why people gravitate to
Yeah.
it. So stop asking why
Yeah.
and ask, why not me?
Yeah, and I do. You know, I don't.
Work around with that.
That's not a question that I ask them all the time, because I'm very grateful. I'm a frontline soldier, but you know, the vision is like, you know, I'm like, God, you know, it's so
scary.
many other. But I'm not even scared. But I just still wanted to just ask them. You know, I just asked them today. Like, I'm grateful, but what is it like? Why do you think that, you know, you want me to do this? Like, I can be, you know, just. I don't know.
You can do a lot of things.
I can do a lot of things.
And that's the thing, because it's already planned out. Personally.
Yes.
So you already a millionaire.
Yes,
just to let
exactly.
you know.
Yes, I receive.
But yeah, as we talk about it, that's the reason he does these things, because
Right.
he knows the end result. He's going to get all the praise in the
Right,
end.
exactly.
And I know I'm going to get asked these questions as a father.
Yeah,
Dad, why? Why me?
yeah,
I'm gonna show you. Give me about 5 more years.
yeah.
You know what? He
You
probably
gonna
sit
see.
back like,
Yeah.
why not you?
Right,
yeah.
right.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, but so we gonna take a break on that note. But I feel like that was perfect, because now we come back, we're gonna jump into what that purpose is and
Okay.
why you been out here helping people. Because I see you out there on social media booming, and I'm seeing the results. So we definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah, we definitely want to talk about that.
All right, we'll be right back with the Informal Podcast. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Informal Podcast. It's your boy Big PJR.
Spain like the country.
And our beautiful guest, Miss Fanaysha White.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about your journey and God's purpose for you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about where you are now.
Okay.
How is the business doing now? You said you had that business, you transitioned. So what was the next step after your first baby was here and gone?
Okay. All right, so in business, it's always one of my millionaire coaches. He said when I was transitioning from believing your budget to going global, he said you're too attached to the business. It's just a business. And in my head, I'm like, I never thought of it like that. I was just, oh my God, it's my business. This is my baby. It's the first thing I've ever owned and started, you know. And he said, you can always start another one. And from there, my perspective changed. I would never get attached to another business. I would start one. I can start one tomorrow.
Right.
Change the name and keep on
Add 2
going.
or 3 of them up.
Yeah. So I think for me, so let's talk about making the 6 figures first. Let's go get into making the money. So when you are when you're in a phase of being a business owner, like when you're in that space, it's very important that you know your product and you know the finances behind the product. Okay. So if you have a business, I need to know how much the product is. How much are your expenses and how much are you getting paid hourly? That's how I can determine where you are. For an example, I had a consultation with a young entrepreneur this past weekend. She does really good for herself in the what is it called? The knit crochet industry.
Okay.
You know that's popping.
Yeah.
So she said, well, I'm making
business.
Yeah. So she's like, I make she says $250 for a crop crochet.
Okay.
And it costs about the product itself is like $40 something for the product
To make it, yes.
to make, but we're not including the softwares, the systems, the times.
Right.
Okay. So once it was 70, I think. No, it was whatever it was. We got down to like $147 or something like that.
Damn.
Okay.
So I said, well, if we divide this up, you're basically charging about $50 for your time, something like that. I think she said it was like 3 hours. So I said, well, what if we can increase the price to $300? Give them a Klarna option or Afterpay option. You're now taking that $50 that was going to go towards the product, and you're gonna make that $50 go towards the product, and now you're pocketing $200. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you got to take that $200 and you need to times it on how many units do you need to sell a month without getting burnt out. Because one thing I realized about entrepreneurs is in the beginning, when you're first making a lot of money, it takes a lot of energy and focus because you have this one product and you have to master selling this one product. But also, and this is the thing that I miss, because I'm chasing money at this time or whatever. So I'm missing the value. So in the beginning, I was adding so much value, like the money was coming in, but then I got big headed, cocky, started doing it for the wrong reason, and now I'm taking on anybody. I'm doing less value, but I got more people. So even if I mess up on you and you leave, I still got 5 more people coming in today. So I don't even care.
Right.
That's not the mindset to have. Every client is specifically tailored to you, for you, by you, and your goal is to produce. So you have to give them more value than what they're paying for. That's biblical. Okay. So when you're on your journey for 6 figures, you need to know your numbers. I made 6 figures off a $100 product. We was charging credit repair. We was doing like $100 at that time. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, I wasn't really eating. Like I had a team, and I would forget to feed the team.
Right. Damn. What?
Because I was so locked in, I wasn't hungry, and she was like, "You know, we didn't eat all day," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me order y'all some food."
Hold on, wait. So I want to backtrack. So while you're at this point, you have a team?
I have a team at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so they started off as interns.
Gotcha.
So I hired my family.
Okay.
Now, I think the best way to leverage and build the wealth that you need, most people are going to say don't start with family. I'm going to say start with family. Because they see it. You know, they didn't see it the first 3 to 4 years, but eventually they got on board. Right. So they became an intern, and then eventually I hired them once we got enough capital to pay them.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But they worked for me, but I was still giving them like, you know, money. It wasn't like every 2 weeks like a payroll, but I was still blessing them.
Just making sure they was comfortable.
Oh yeah. I still took care of them. You know, it wasn't on the W-2 yet. I didn't have them on the W-2 yet. But I still had them on the payroll. Yeah, not a payroll, but you know, I'm sending them cash apps and stuff like that.
You can do the change.
Yeah, I'm taking care of them.
So how many people did you have on the team? I mean, how many?
It was 3 of us.
Okay.
So it was my little sister, because I got burnt out. So I got burnt out multiple times on the way to 6 figures, and that's why I'm telling y'all, you gotta be able to produce, but on the way where you're not getting burnt out, because you need energy.
Right.
Money is energy.
Right.
In order for me to produce, even now, I'm working on a 7-figure energy level. I'm figuring out what does that energy level look like for me. I'm watching videos. I'm last night, you can look at my YouTube thread. What do millionaires do at nighttime? How much sleep do they get? Like I'm really prepping my mind for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but when it was 6 figures, it was like, what do 6 figures do?
Right.
I'm doing the same thing, right? So we're at 3 people at this time. I mean, I'm going live. I mean, every time I go live, sale after sale after sale, we're just locked in. And it's just as much as the money was coming in, I was also spending it too. Yeah, so I was spending it. But it wasn't on materialistic things. I had a issue with buying courses. So everybody got a thing that they spend money on, okay? But at the time, I wasn't taking action fast enough. So your action has to match up with the knowledge.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because the longer you drag it out, more than likely you're not going to do it. Okay. Wow. So you got to focus on you got the knowledge, but you got to focus on the execution too.
You got to implement.
Yes, you got to implement. If you're not, it's still not going to connect. I don't care how many times you write out how you're going to make 6 figures.
It's just so.
Yeah. You got to focus on the action. So on that way, I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, we're grinding, and I'm loving it, and boom, that's when I was like, I'm burnt out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just got burnt out. I stopped loving it.
Really?
And I was like, I'm just going to close and show people how to fix their own credit. It was cute, and I wasn't getting the results. Like, it was during COVID.
Oh, so this happened right after COVID.
Yeah, it was during COVID. I wasn't getting the same results. I thought it was something that I was doing, but the whole time they was ignoring us. But the article came out years later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I closed it down, and I was so depressed. Like, I've been like depressed on this journey so many times.
And this is the second time.
Yeah.
To shut it down.
I shut it down, and I just closed all my clients out, and I was just so depressed. Like, I just felt like not helping people. I feel so lifeless. Like, I felt lifeless. It's like, why am I here? Like, I was just like, you might as well just take me up out of here, because if I can't help people, then, you know, then I realized, like, oh, I do like helping people. I'm not just chasing the money.
Yeah.
But it was just too much going on. I got burnt out. I wasn't getting the same results. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? You know, I didn't even think to hire like a coach at that time. I'm just working on buying like courses and stuff like that. I didn't hire a media coach at that time.
So at this time, you figured it all out.
Figured it out when I closed?
No, I'm just saying, like, all this, you like,
oh, no.
Coach or guy.
No. After I closed, I said, well, God, if you want me to do it, you figure it out, because I don't really got no funds and I'm living off my savings. So I hit 6 figures, but then I had to rebuild because I started living off my savings, my credit cards, everything that I built. That's what credit is so important, because my credit helped me bounce back. Saving, my knowledge with finances. I went from, I can pay my rent up to 3 to 4 months to I can only pay it month to month. You know, and that was very hard for me, you know, because it's different. I went from not having to look at my account to, okay, I got to look at my account after I hit 6 figures. Yeah. And I felt like I made that my identity. Oh, I'm a 6-figure earner. Like, I made it my identity. I forgot who was the real boss, which is God. And I forgot.
He loves to remind us.
Yeah, he loves to remind us. And it was just, at that point, I was like, okay, God, I'm going to teach it. It was fun teaching it, but it's nothing like getting down and dirty. Like, I couldn't I couldn't get down and dirty with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm eating too much. Like when I was grinding, it's like I was forgetting to eat. Like, but I wasn't hungry. I was just so locked in. You got to get locked into that point. I'm not dating. I'm not talking. Like I'm so locked in at this point.
Well, you definitely was hungry, but it just wasn't for food.
It wasn't for food. I mean, I was hungry. It was not for food. I wasn't going. I was locked in. Every time Christmas coming up, my family like, oh, what you want? I'm asking for business products. What you need? Business products. What you got? Business. Yes.
Some money.
Yeah. And it was just so amazing. God is just so amazing. And I said, well, if you want me to do this, just figure it out for me. And then I got a check in the mail like a week later.
So he worked it out.
Well, actually, I found this lady that 2 weeks before my check came in the mail. This lady made a post on Facebook in the group, and I just put in her name, and I was looking through all her posts. Her name is LaShonda. I love LaShonda. Hey, Sunday. And I was just reading all her posts, and I was like, well, God, that's what I said. I said, God, if it's meant for me to have her as a coach, just send me the money. Because I already asked her how much it was. She was like $2,000. In my head, I'm like, I don't have $2,000. Right. Imagine not having to look at your account and saying, I don't have $2,000. You know, you're going to go broke a few times. You're going to go broke 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. But the broke is going to be different. Not broke, but the financial transition is going to be different every time.
I like that.
So it looks different for me now. So now I'm transitioning now, but it's different. It's not like how it was at that time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So a check came in the mail from the IRS that I guess it was like a money they owed me, and it was like $3,000 and some change, and I cashed it and paid her. And and then that's when I started International Credit Recovery Solutions.
We come back on that one.
I'm about to clear this table and let you shop and dance.
We coming back on that. International Credit, what name?
International Credit Recovery Solutions, ICRS.
So we coming back after commercial break on that note right here, because I told you. You always work it out. I tell people, if you just make the first step, he comes right behind you. I got you.
That is a gem.
Shop with us today at On God Motivation. It's where faith meets fashion. Your home for motivation apparel. OnGodMotivation.com. Shop with us today.
We back with the Informal Podcast. Big PJR.
Spain like the country.
And a beautiful Fanaysha White in the building. So before we left off, we talked about how God is working, how he worked things out.
Yes.
What a way to come back with that. Talking about how God is working.
Talking about it, man. Why not? And so we're talking about phase 3 now.
Yes.
So the new transition, the new business. Talk about it.
So after you make the 6 figures, now you have to change your mindset when it comes to business. So when you're making the first 6 figures, you are working every position in the business. Okay, so you're the cameraman, you're the editor. Now at this point, you are using your time to make money. Phase 3, you use your resources to make money. Okay, your time is the most valuable thing in phase 3. We're going from 6 figures to 7 figures. So now we're not doing minimum wage activities. We're outsourcing. So you got to get to the point where you're outsourcing and you are delegating tasks. Okay, because you now realize that even though this project just took me 2 hours, I could have been over here studying and implementing a strategy that can make me thousands. Okay, so it's so funny because my coach, Brooke, she was like, how I met her is through Jarrell. He invited me to come speak in New Jersey last minute. And I wound up getting on the stage with Dion, the guy I was telling you about that does credit repair. And I seen her online. Her name is Brooke. She has one of the #1 programs on School. School is an app. It's SKOOL. She has the #1 digital marketing community on there, and she was my coach. She still is. She coached me from a distance now, but at that time, I got on like one of her free Zoom trainings, and I already knew about automation and outsourcing, but I didn't know how to connect them. Okay, that's what's very important, that you take action, especially when you have certain people in your energy. So on the call, she gave us a challenge to do a Zoom. So I said, okay, well, it's not gonna hurt me anything. Let me just do the Zoom. I already knew how to make money, but I just had to tap back in. I needed to do it a smarter way. And I did the Zoom. I wound up getting like 60 seats, like, booked up or whatever. Okay. And I just reached out to her, just giving her all of like my breakdown. She said, let's get on the phone. Man, now I'm living on Chamberlain at this time.
Okay.
So I went from having my own apartment, now I'm dating.
Okay.
So this is like the last 2 years.
Okay.
So now I'm dating. Okay. And our goal is to start building. But I had to wait for my daughter to get out of school. So I said, well, there's no need for me to renew my lease. Let me just, go stay over here with one of my friends.
Okay.
And, it was just convenient to stay over there.
Of course.
But again, I'm still building. I don't have the 6 figures coming in no more. It's just, I'm slowly rebuilding at this point. And she said, well, we got on the phone and she was like, oh, my program is $5,000. So in my head, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I used to be able to pay this in the drop of a dime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't even pay her $5,000. Like, in my mind, you got to think about this. Like, I'm 6 figures. I'm the credit girl, but people don't know my credit cards are maxed out. Like, I'm trying to pay them down before, we go over there. Like, because again, I'm rebuilding. And that's why I say you're going to go broke. Not broke, but you're gonna transition, different times.
It's gonna be different phases.
And different phases. And she said, "Well, you can just get in for $500 and pay me back." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Okay, we'll pay in installments." And me and her, we was on a grind for like a year. So me and her was dating, I would say, for 2 years. So that first year of us dating, I'm in my rebuilding stage. Okay. So I'm in the rebuilding stage, and now I'm like, oh, I got to make 6 figures again to get to 7. Okay, cool, no problem.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. Right. And another thing that I want to say too, when we are on this journey, it's very important that we are intentional with our space, because I feel like entrepreneurship is so spiritual. And if you're not going to empower me, if I tell you, hey, I want to build one of the most luxury, largest hotel in Dubai, I expect for my person to tell me, well, let's start looking up the flight so we can go look over there to see what's going on.
What's the game plan?
I don't want nobody around me who's thinking small, who feel like I'm small. Or I don't care what the circumstances look like. I'm telling you what is going to happen. I'm telling you that I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. I'm telling you that we're going to have properties. I'm telling you we're going to have shelters. I'm telling you this. So at this point, my coach is like, listen, God had to close that 6-figure business down for you to make 7. And I never looked at it like that. But you got to hang around people who can change your perspective on the way you think. So now we're at this space. A year go by, so now I'm on the 2nd year, and I realized that me and the person is not in alignment, which is okay.
It's okay.
I learned something, and I went back to corporate America up DC when I moved up there. So I went into corporate America. I wanted to work at a bank because I wanted to be intentional. And that's another thing. If you're gonna work a job, please be intentional. At the job, your job.
Please repeat that again for these people, because me and this brother talk about that all the time. About allowing that corporate job to be a teacher or an educator, or even like you said, fund your dreams.
Somebody stated it wasn't. I don't know who stated, but anyway, they said the job you're on is your first investor.
Yes. That's it. I just looked at the job as an investment.
Street.
Yeah.
Street. Yeah. Mike Street said your job is your first first investment.
Wow. That's why when I went up there, I said, okay, this is gonna be my investment. This job gonna be my investment. I'm gonna be using this to get my business right.
That's why I love VCU. People been talking about. Thank you, VCU.
Okay.
Keep on investing in that.
Okay. But so once I went up there, I just started rebuilding. Now I'm working on the business. At first I was working in the business. So now, when I say I'm doing this job. Now I'm on the business. So now I'm like, okay, my coach like, we got to get somebody to your time. You don't need to be sitting here disputing. you need to be focused on sales. So I hired 2 people from overseas. Their pay compared to here is totally different. You can send them $300 and they're living good.
They good
over there, you know. So I started doing that, and now, like I said, I'm working corporate America. I wanted to work at a bank because I wanted to see how it was, and I wanted to learn everything about banking, and I wanted to touch money every day. I wanted to touch money every day, and I wanted to see $1 million in bank accounts.
Finance.
So yeah, I wanted to get in finance, and it so happened that I actually worked at a bank. It was a World Bank. So they gave bank accounts to people from other countries like Ghana, like Switzerland, like all of these countries.
You got a real experience. Look at that.
Every day, I'm looking at $1 million account. I can't say that it was one day that I did not see $1 million in the account.
Wow.
And the reason
it became so natural for me.
And the reason I want you to expound on that is because I kind of feel like when God shows us stuff like that, it's only just a snapshot of what we're supposed to have. And that's how I feel.
That's the leader.
Because I have had some things, and again, access, money, people, I'm like, is this... Oh, okay, God, I get it. So I'm gonna just keep walking until I wake up every day like that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna enjoy the journey.
That's the whole thing. Before you answer, that's the whole thing. He shows you what you could potentially have, but he's training you to be ready for it, to get used to seeing it.
That's so fun.
If I give it to you now, you don't know what to do. No. Let's get used to seeing it every day. See that $1 million every day.
No, we're gonna do exactly like you did and I did, because I made 6 figures.
Right.
And at one point, I made that my thing.
Yeah.
Until I didn't. And then I was trying to get back, and recently I had to reshift.
Yeah.
Cut old ties of, okay, this is no longer, to, again, get to the next level. Introduce me to new things, people who are on that level, the conversation, the space is different. So it's time for growth. And it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
That's what we want y'all to know. It's okay.
It's definitely
it's
okay.
hard.
It's hard.
difficult.
Oh yeah.
But it's okay.
So you seeing the millions every day.
I'm seeing the millions every day. So what I started to do, because the way that the receipts was, only show the last 4 digits of the account.
Right.
So what I would do is I would cut off the top part of the receipt, and I would just like fold it up, and I would look at it like every day. And I'm just looking at it, and eventually I just started cutting the tops off, like the account number. Well, you don't see the account number, but the last 4. And I would just look at them, and then I eventually had so many that I just created affirmations around them and put it around my house. So now it's like I'm going from 20, I'm looking at 14, 40, 60, 250. So it's like in my house on my mirror, it's like the snapshots are there from when I took a picture after I cut it, and I just, I was just seeing it every day, and I thank God that he brought me, even though the relationship didn't work out. I built some amazing relationships up there, but I needed to see those accounts every day. I needed to see how they operate. And I'm just looking at their algorithm, and all of them had one thing in common: investing in real estate. That's it. They focus on compound interest. They don't listen. Regular, now, don't get me wrong now. They was looking nice. Taylor, like you can do, like don't have nobody thinking that you got to dress like a bum to be a millionaire.
Right.
I'm gonna be I'm a fly millionaire. Okay, I already know that. If I can get dressed every day, I'm gonna get dressed every day.
I'm gonna put this on.
I'm gonna put it on every single day. I mean, to the store, to the bank, anywhere. I'm
gonna be regal, man.
I'm gonna put it on, but I'm looking at their account, and I'm asking them questions. Because they cool. I'm not like, oh, how did you become a millionaire? That's not the question that I asked. It was more so, oh, hey, I'm of course being myself. And then they would just bring in like checks from all of the people that they collected their money from, and all of this and all of that. And I just see that they have more. It's like they had more money coming in than more money was going out. So you got to check your statements. Wow. Do you have more money coming in, or do you have more money coming out? And I recently did my own audit. I posted on social media, and I did my own audit from last year. And for somebody that's in finances, I was very disappointed in myself.
Really?
Yeah, I was because this is the thing. I know better. But it doesn't mean, and this is the thing, people think because you're in finances that you're rich, or you're not going to make mistakes. No.
You're learning to.
I'm learning just like y'all.
We all are.
You know, it's my craft. I just have to continue studying. Most people are just not going to study.
Most people go to work and come home.
Yeah, that's it. But I looked through it and I was disappointed in myself.
I'm sure.
But again, you know, it was my building year, so I'm also like, you know, I had to give myself some grace as well because again, that was my building year.
Right.
And
but I do think it's important that you say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know, you know, like we are learning, growing, grace, right?
Yeah.
But you have to know that.
Yeah.
You have to say, you know what? I made a mistake. Let me do better now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, last year this and that was the
Yeah.
case, but this year can't be that.
Yeah.
So that's really all it is for me. Is like pointing out what you know you could have done better, and now doing it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. People don't want to point it out.
No.
That part takes vulnerability. It takes courage. Accountability, and it takes courage to say, you know what? People think I'm just this great woman, which I am, but it's also me and God. Like, no, I want you to be better. This is just I barely even sprinkle what I got for you.
It's only 10%, man. You got so much more left.
You know,
Right.
You know,
we do is why we have to have these conversations because we have to feed each other so right. And one thing that you touched on that I love is that's what you need in your circle, right? If Keith comes to me and say, yo, Pete, I want this building, I'm trying to Keith already know how I'm coming. When we doing it, what's the plan, how we mapping it out, when you trying to do it. That's why when we got this opportunity, it wasn't a long discussion. We didn't have to sit down and talk for 2 days and go over the contract and price seems reasonable, work for us.
Right. You say action, right?
Yeah.
Take action because we know we need to take this next step. So I'm glad you touched on that because we do have to realize that it's work, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's really worth it. So what would you say have been some things that you learned or surprised yourself over this journey that you like, you know what, I didn't know I was capable of that, or I got this skill set, or, you know, because one thing about entrepreneurship for me, I feel like it uncovers talents and skills that we don't know we have.
Yeah.
That's why I like this journey of entrepreneurship. So what are some things along this journey that you like, yo, I didn't know I was that good at that, or this is a skill of mine, or it's a passion, or whatever.
You know, surprisingly, I still can't believe I'm good at credit. Surprisingly. I know it's like, girl, you've been doing it for so long. But another thing is, I also feel like every time I think I get good at it, it's always another level. And I'm like, does it stop? But it doesn't. It doesn't stop. It's always a new technique that I gotta learn, or it's always a new way to dispute. So surprisingly, I stuck to something this long because I've always, even at a job, after 2-3 years, I'm done. I done mastered the craft so much that's why I never felt like I belonged at a job, because it's like I always master it and I get so bored, and then guess what? My passion leaves.
Yeah.
The energy, it's like it's no purpose. It's nothing challenging me. You know, that's how I know I'm meant to be an entrepreneur. I don't know about y'all, but I know I'm meant to do my big one too.
I'm meant to challenge yourself.
Yeah, I'm meant to I'm meant to challenge myself.
And I'm glad you said that. And again, because we have to know that, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a young lady on, and we talked about this off air, so it's not on any interview, so y'all won't catch the clip. But the young lady made a comment, and it was real. She said, Pete, everybody can't think like us because we need to hire people.
That is true.
So I'm not mad at that, but I think it is important that those of us who understand that we are the job creators, the generational curse breakers, that the path that I like to tell people, while people are driving down the street, we're walking through the forest. Because we have to create the path. Their path is probably already laid, it's set in stone, or people like us have already walked it. So we've laid it for them, right? And once we kind of hire a person, Keith can explain it is, you have a role. And that's why I liked when you touched on, when you get to a certain level, you're now thinking of how to expand the business, to grow the business, to create jobs. And that's literally where we are at now, is creating a job for the person to stand behind the camera and pay them $50 an hour, or things like that, to be able to help people out, because Keith know that's where I started. That's how me and Keith met, right?
Yeah.
Keith was looking for a part-time job. My transportation business was hiring.
Yeah.
And me and Keith's been locked in step since then. But he's been a person that I've grown with.
Yeah.
He's been a person that when he came along with his clothing brand idea, I said, let's go.
Yeah. That's
So,
amazing.
but when we come back, what I want you to do is drop some nuggets on credit, stuff like that,
That's
on the
exactly
people.
what I was gonna say.
That's what we want to, because we
He
kind of want to
ready.
lead.
He ready for that.
Yeah.
Drop
Yeah,
them gems.
Yeah, the thing is, because I know credit is a touchy issue.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing, we come back, is I want to know, how was it received? Like, how do people receive it when you actually sit down with them, or however you do it, and talk to them about
Yeah.
getting that credit?
Because you know it's
that probably can get touchy.
Yeah.
So we do that when we come
But
back.
we'll be back. All right. We right back with the Informal Podcast. It's Big PJR.
Spain like the country.
And of course, our beautiful guest, Fanaysha White, is in the building. All right, so before we get out of here, of course, we like to share some information, drop some nuggets to the people.
Get your notepads out.
Get your notepads out. This the part of the segment, and we'll be chopping up a lot of clips. So we want give people out there some tips, some pointers. We know it's tax season coming up. We know people want to get back the most money, whether it's personal business, and then just give anybody some credit tips to kind of, it's the first of the year. You know, a lot of people goals are, I want to get those credit cards off and get them paid off. Because that's actually one of mine. I just got about a few grand worth of debt and I'm knocking all that off by June.
People just want to get financially stable.
And again, just any tips to help people get, or pointers, places people can go, whatever.
Okay, all right. Well, let's start with credit first. No, let's credit and debt. Let's start with that. So, somebody asked me a question the other day. They was like, should I start paying off? Should I pay off a collection? During tax. I don't think she said during taxing, but she's like, should I pay off a collection, or should I just dispute it? And I think, me personally, depending on your goals, there's two ways that you can approach this.
Okay.
If you have the time, okay, because when you're disputing, it may not come off 30 days, 60 days. It may take 106 months. It may take time. If you have the time to spare, I would say dispute everything.
Okay.
Don't pay a dime.
Okay.
Me personally.
Okay.
However, if you're in the process of buying a home, or if you're in the process of trying to get business funding, and you know that those credit cards are going to stop you from getting that, I would say go ahead and pay it down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the credit report, you want to focus on a few things. You don't want no late payments on your credit report.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the approach with that, you need to approach it multiple ways. So the first way that I would do is I would try to call them.
Okay.
So I would
call
ask them,
whoever that debt is with.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would ask them for a courtesy removal.
Okay.
Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, but of course tell them what's going on. Like, I lost my job. Like, real life stuff be happening out here. Explain to them what's happening, and if they don't do it, ask to speak to the manager. If the manager don't do it, send a letter to send an email to the CEO, and more than likely somebody is going to call you.
So y'all hear when the white people say, I'm gonna write a letter?
Yeah.
That's what they talk about. Right to the top.
Yeah.
Don't take no for an
Yeah, send an email.
Don't just talk to the first person like,
no.
I speak to the manager. They'll send the manager. Let me get that email.
Yeah, get that email. And then if that doesn't work, I would say go ahead and send a letter.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, I will go ahead and do a CFPB complaint.
So you got 5 steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the CFPB is like the bureau's parents.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
CFPB.
CFPB. Okay. Now, so
Wait a minute.
the customer.
Bureau's parents.
Yes.
Where the hell did that come from?
So that's the way I put it, because it's easier for somebody to remember.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I just thought it was the Better Business Bureau, and then somebody.
No, the Better Business Bureau is different from that.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
See, that's why we got you on.
Yeah. So the CFPB is basically the people who can come after the big three: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. They're not related. Most people think that they're related. They're not related.
That part.
Okay. Majority of the time, if you look at your credit report, you have about 90% of inaccuracies all through there. Nothing matches, but per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, everything's supposed to match. That's how when we're disputing, we put the bureaus against each other.
Oh.
Yes, that's how we send them the same letter, but they all more than likely they're going to give you a different response.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hence, that's why you have different scores on it.
Exactly. Because one may report to here, but not report to there.
Ding ding.
You see what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Okay, so boom. Now we at this point where we're disputing. You know, we're disputing, and they're not responding. Boom. We send it to the CFPB. We send them all the letters that we, you know, sent to them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want no issues with the CFPB.
Okay.
It's almost like the feds and credit. Look at them like that.
Okay.
Like they come after the big fish, the bigger fish.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
So you're gonna do that. So in my opinion, no late payments.
Yes.
Okay? If you are in a space,
Pay your bills on time.
yeah, pay your bills on time. Now I get it, you know, I get it, things be happening, I get it. But don't pay your credit cards bills late. Anything that's reporting monthly, don't pay that late. Okay? Now, your credit card usage. Most people say that, oh, I heard 30%. No, that's the max. You want to keep your credit cards at 10% or lower if you're not investing.
Okay. That's
Okay.
what I told my daughter. I wanted to make sure I was telling her.
Yeah.
I want to make sure.
Yeah.
She only uses it for gas though. She only
Oh, okay, but you gotta use it though.
Oh yeah, that's the only
Yeah.
time she uses it is for gas in her car.
Yeah, you gotta use it. Another thing that I would say when it comes to credit is how you're actually using the credit card.
Okay.
So look at credit cards as like a bank that you can get money from anytime you want. Okay, let me just elaborate. If I know that you travel, right, I'm not gonna go and tell you to go get a Sz4Ep2 credit card.
Okay.
You're not gonna get travel points from that.
Right.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell you to go get a Sports Dix credit card. Like, why would I do that? It depends on what your lifestyle is. Every credit card is not created equal. So when you're getting a credit card, y'all need to focus on the interest rate. You need to focus on the incentives. Like how many points do I get per swipe?
Okay.
And can my points convert to cash? Okay, because that's what it's about. It's about the credit card. It's so much credit. It's so many good credit cards out here. 0 APR for 12 to 18 months. If you know that you want to start investing in real estate, why not go get 3 cards, or let's say 4? Your credit score is 720. You good? You just started a business. You got a new LLC.
Yeah.
You go open a bank account at four companies, 4 banks. PNC, you can get 25K 0 APR. Chase, 0 APR.
Yeah, that's what.
You see what I'm saying? You can find different credit cards depending on what state you're in that got 0 APR. So if I know that I'm working on something in real estate, why not go get 100K with a new LLC? Because my credit is good, and I don't have to pay 0% for 12 to 18 months.
That makes sense.
So now I got 12 to 18 months to flip 100K. You see what I'm saying? Credit is so important.
Yo, that's a play.
It's a play.
Wait a minute, hold on.
I just told y'all to get 100K. That's a play. I run the plays. I'm running the play now.
I chop that clip up.
Yeah, I'm running the play now. Like with my clients, my business funding clients, and the business model that I have, this is how I'm getting from 6 figures to 7 figures. Because now I went from a $100 product to a $5,000 product to a $10,000 product. My products are higher now. You see what I'm going with this?
Yeah.
This is how you get to the 7 figures. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that package. You know, because I went from 100, 500, 999, 1200, 1500. Now I'm at 5,000, 10,000. I'm not at a point yet. My value, I know a lot, but right now I don't have enough value to charge somebody $25,000 to sit with me.
Right.
Because you have to 10x the value. So if they're paying me $5,000, I have to get them. If they're paying me $5,000, I have to give them access to $50K. So you have to 10x the value, is what I'm saying.
So
that's some business play right there. That's
no, hold on, wait, no.
I don't know if I'm giving too much.
See, what we want to do is because
you see the play that I'm giving?
No, because see, I realized people not gonna do this shit, right? But if I could come to somebody and they can help, see, that's where
they're paying me for to consult.
Right.
But
I'm consulting them.
But if you could consult and get results, I'm spending that $5,000.
Because you're gonna get that $50K.
Hell yeah!
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So now you got but this is the credit profile. This is how you gotta set up your credit profile.
Right, okay.
No late payments, 10% usage, credit usage, no derogatory. Okay, meaning no collection items. That need to be 0. You need at least have a 7-year history. If you don't, just get a trade line. Okay, but you need to make sure that the trade line has 7 years and there's no late payments on the trade line. Okay, or more than likely it's not if you get it on a site. But if you get on his credit card and he got 7 years, but it's a late payment, that's going to reflect on yours. So be very careful if you do it with somebody that you know.
Yes.
Okay, and then after that, you need to make sure your inquiries is under 5%. Okay, so that's another play right there. That's just the whole blueprint of what you want your credit report to look like. After that, you can get a new LLC and you're going to take it to the bank. They're going to ask you your projections. Okay, now a projection is what you think that you may make. They didn't say in 5 years or 2 years. I'm going to put 1.2. Give me that meal. Because if they're running that application, they only give you a certain percentage of what you actually put down. So you got to know which bank that you're going to go to, and you got to see what's the percentage in the ratio, the debt to income ratio, based on the loan that they're going to give you, whether it's a credit card or whatever the case may be. But more than likely, we tell our clients to go for the credit cards because we get that 12 to 18 months. You see what I'm saying? But business credit, that's business funding. Okay? Business credit is when they're actually using the paydex score. So the EIN number. Yeah. So that's that. But as far as like the credit, your credit is your foundation. You need credit for everything. Insurance, everything. You know, if you want to remove inquiries in 24 to 48 hours, you can just call them and tell them that you didn't authorize that. They're going to ask you, did you do a police report? You can say yes. They're not going to ask you for any documents. Now, if they do, you can, I'm going to give y'all a website that y'all can go to. You can fill it out, but you don't have to submit it. Because that's fraud. We won't do no fraud.
No fraud over here.
Okay, but you can
information.
Okay, you can't fill out the form and then just tell them that you filled it out. But the inquiries, you can get those going in 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes they're stubborn. Sometimes it's not always that, but majority of the time it's that.
What's the you said paydex score?
Yes.
What is that?
So a paydex score is the business credit. Okay. So again, business credit, business funding is different. Business credit, look at that is your EIN number is your social. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, your business funding. Right. That's your regular social. They're just taking a look at it to see how you gonna maneuver on the business side. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Then that now EIN. Right. Business credit. Okay. So your paydex score, it goes from 1 to 100.
Okay.
80 is the highest. So you're gonna get that from Duns and Bradstreet. I'm actually about to do a whole series on it, just teaching on Dun and Bradstreet.
So y'all tapping.
And another gem that I want to give y'all. I don't know if they ready for that.
You know what?
I don't know.
We sound like we might have to create a whole financial section with Fanaysha.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ready for that. All right, I'll give y'all a few more gems.
Come on.
Let me see. No, I'm playing.
Turn the paper.
Okay, so this is what a lot of wealthy people do.
Come on
so
now. A lot of our audience go as wealth. So
yes, they do.
Let's go.
Or you don't even have to be wealthy. You could just be building
it gotta be your goal.
A solid foundation.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So you have something called a UCC filing. Okay, so UCC filing is pretty much 2 agreements. This is how people that's, again, has a foundation or they're trying to build a foundation and they need a lot of money from the banks. Okay, that's only if they're using business credit. I can do a UCC filing saying that you and I, okay, we have been doing business for, how long y'all been doing business?
We only been here 2 years.
2 years.
Okay, 2 years, right? How long have y'all been talking about just y'all brands and stuff like that?
All together? I mean, at least 8 years.
8 years now, yeah.
Right, okay.
The transportation, the clothing brand.
Right, okay.
Right.
So, let's just say, for instance, you guys do a UCC filing together. Your company is basically saying that he's the borrower. You're saying that you borrow over a $500,000 from him. Okay, 500.
Okay.
He's then going to report that you have paid him on time. So now the value of your company just went to $500,000. This is how people sell their corporations. They build them and then they sell them, but that's just part one because you still got to add the financials.
Yeah.
When somebody is buying your business, they have to see what's the revenue coming in monthly, but they're also going to go to Dun & Bradstreet to look at the value of your business. So believe in your budget, we built the value of that of $750,000. Now, if I would have kept going and I would have, had a certain amount coming in, I could have easily sold that business. because I put because I put the UCC filers on it.
Okay.
So that's a gem.
That's a smart play, man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we giving y'all.
That's too much. That's too much.
That's it. So as far as like tax season, give them any gems they need to watch out for this tax season.
Okay.
Things they need to be on the lookout for, the do's and don'ts.
Okay.
You know they're gonna be like, do this.
Yes. Please don't add no fake W-2s.
Come on, man. Come on.
I don't know what is that about.
I'm still doing that. I don't know nothing about nothing illegal, man. One person off food is all the same.
Listen, and we truly do not judge, but please do not come. Like, I had somebody try to do a fake W-2. I said, I can't take you. This is not a real W-2. I was that real, because you that bold, I'm that real.
I mean, how do you think you're going to get... You're not going to know it's that real.
I don't know. But it was a fake W-2. Stop doing these fake W-2s. Now, how to maximize your tax returns.
Okay.
This is how you maximize your tax return. The people that get the better refunds are the entrepreneurs.
And this is what I've been hearing.
Grant Cardone lives a lovely life. He doesn't really pay Uncle Sam. And the reason why, and if he do, it's a small percentage. If he owe $500,000, he's not going to give him that. He's going to make a purchase, invest that, and then pay him something, like pay him what he want to pay him. So this is the difference. As a W-2 holder, Uncle Sam takes the tax out before you get your money.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
As an entrepreneur, we pay Uncle Sam.
We pay him, yep.
I would rather be on the other side of the chart where I pay you what I want to pay you. Okay?
Right.
Now, when you are an entrepreneur and you're writing this stuff off, you got to comb through your bank statements. The more deductions that you have, depending on where you're at as an entrepreneur, if you're trying to get a refund, you're going to have to write a lot of stuff off. However, if you are investing, I don't advise you to keep on writing everything off and put yourself on a W-2.
Okay.
Put yourself on a W-2. You can do the Gusto, ADP. What you said? Paycheck?
Paycheck.
Yeah, paycheck. You can do that. But like I said, it just depends on where you're at as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So this season, not next season, but this season that I'm on, I'm using all my business income. I can't write off everything, So just be very mindful of that. You need to see, okay, where do I want to be in 2 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Do I want to be buying property? Do I want to buy a house? If so, you still have to put yourself on a W-2. But the only difference is you control how much you pay yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to know how much your bills are. You got to know how much that stuff is. You can't just be winging it inconsistent. They don't like that.
Right.
They don't like that. Why do you think a worker, why do you think they pay y'all on the same, not y'all, but why do you think they pay you around the same time every month? The second Friday, the fourth Friday.
15.
Why? It's consistency.
Consistency.
It's the same thing. Just change your perspective. You're just on the other end. Operate how they operate.
No, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
My transportation business went to paying everybody weekly on Friday. And you get paid every Friday. There's no, because at first we used to pay you the night of, you left the event, but that didn't create consistency. But like you said, the banking stuff, if you're going to ask for money, they want to see some type of consistency. So now we do it every Friday. Every Friday.
Yeah, so have all your receipts. So your tax preparer, if you do have one, we comb through it. So they can give us receipts, but we're going through every deduction. Hey, did you have this? We're going back through it. Did you have this? Did you have that? Because if our goal is to maximize your refund, we're going to do that. But if you're trying to break even, we're going to try our best to do that too. Now, if you owe, we'll get you on some type of payment arrangement. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to, don't do fraud just not to owe. Because they might come and get you.
Y'all ain't see what happened to everybody with the PPP loan?
I ain't really see too many people with the PPP loans because my circle, we was just.
No, I wasn't talking about us that was doing it because you can tell the type of people, but they got arrested. You don't.
Oh yeah.
You don't.
I did see a few people in Richmond that I knew.
Yeah. All right, so
awesome.
So look, we want to thank you for the jewels and the gems and really just the overall conversation tonight. But those who want to get in touch with you, because it is that time of the year.
Yes, tax season.
And we have had the luxury of when people come on this platform to get an increase in business.
Yes.
So tell them where they can
increase.
That's right. Right. Yeah, I literally had somebody take me out because their business increased. So
okay. Well, let mine increase so I can pay them their referral bonus.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. But yeah, tell them where they can find you at on all social media, but also tell them where they can contact you for your business as well.
Okay, so you guys can contact me on Instagram, Facebook, Fanaysha White, and LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
We just got on LinkedIn.
I keep telling people.
Yeah, we going global. We're going we're going global. I'm so big. I want to be on LinkedIn. Okay, I want to be where the billionaires are. Okay,
That's right.
Yeah. So Fanaysha White, and if you need help with your taxes, www.fwfinancialservices.com. And we help, W-2s, entrepreneurs. If you need to, amend your taxes, we can help you with that as well. And yeah, if you guys are coming from their podcast, make sure you put their name down for their referral.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. Actually, we'll even put something in the bottom.
Yeah.
So they know that it came from us. But yeah, so we just want to thank you for coming on the platform. We actually may have an opportunity that I think we could probably do something more frequently, because what we do want to add on this platform is a space for financial literacy conversations.
Right.
To just be and have more, and it may be a point where we get people send questions in and just, maybe have you on here, just answer those questions live or whatever, right?
Yeah, I like that.
But we'll have some options because
Absolutely.
we want to make this a platform for information, a place that people can go to find out things that they may not be able to go elsewhere. Or, a lot of platforms may cloud things. Yeah. We want to keep it simple for you. Simple and regular. Because like I said, we regular folk.
Yeah.
We figuring out as we go. We just have huge aspirations.
Yeah.
Greatness is definitely on our agendas.
Okay.
So if that's not on yours, we can still help you along the way too. Right. This is a space for everybody. So
let me piggyback that, and let's I want you to, before we leave, kind of give some encouraging words, because we talk about everything being kind of touchy, like credit and tax time and stuff like that. So kind of some encouraging words to people that are really out there. I mean, they trying to make it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I would say that money is energy. And I feel like the moment that we tap into who we are and what we're meant to do and who we're meant to be, it's going to flow. I think it's more so of finding who you really are and what is the purpose of you actually being here. And from there, I just feel like your gift is going to make space for you. But until then, I feel like you should just ask for clarity, but also write it down. I was talking to a few people on my team, and I said, hey, have you guys written down your goals for the new year? And surprisingly, people said no. And it's like, how do you know where you're going if you don't write it down? Like, you got to make the vision plain. What do you want? What do you want your finance? If you had no money problems in the world, like, what was your if you had no limits, if you had no limits on your brain, no limits on your ability, good health, everything, and you can push for a certain financial lifestyle, what would that be? And if you can make it very clear and you can see it, you can get it. So I think it's just more so of just being clear on what you want. What does your wealthy life look like? It can be having somebody come and cook for you 2 to 3 days. That might be your wealth. Right. For me, it could be waking up to my daughter in the middle of the week. We going to Miami just because it's high,
jump on a plane,
or jump on a jet.
Because it's cold here.
And that's what I see. My daughter like it's cold. I said, well, one day we'll have a jet, and when it's cold, we'll go somewhere and come back. Right. That's what I see. So you need to figure out what is it that you see, but also, don't be so down about it. It's just money. And I listen to millionaires all the time. They was like, oh, we go bankrupt. Like they don't look at money how we look at money. We look at, oh, man, it's the end of it. No, it's just a tool.
It's a tool. I love that.
It's really just a tool. So if you change your perspective on it and you see it that way, you will know like it's really a tool. Yep. But also don't give up and don't get discouraged. You're gonna have moments to where you're gonna feel like you robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you also gonna have moments where you're in your overflow and your abundance. But always think God where you are. Because you was at a point probably 5 years ago that you was praying that you can get to this point here. So I think it's just for me, just having gratitude and being grateful, but also put some action behind those prayers and those words that you're writing down, it's nothing that you can't get through. Everything that we have been through, you think he really gonna take us this far and be like, all right, stop.
Yeah. Now,
while we got breath in our body, I feel like I'm done when I don't have no breath.
Every day above ground is a blessing.
Yeah. So, I mean, for anybody just going through it financially, I understand. But you got to cut out that noise. You got to get locked in. You watching too much TV. You over here dating people that you can't even ask for help. You don't have no mental clarity. You smoking every weekend. You drinking every weekend. Don't have a family foundation set up. And I'm not trying to like belittle anyone, because me and my family, I'm like, y'all, we gotta have this conversation. We need to get this. You know, I'm in the process of getting my family foundation together, so I can't help y'all. Yeah. Because I'm trying to help my family right now too. That's right. But they're slowly coming and they're slowly starting to get it. But I make financial literacy a topic in my household. Make it a topic in 2025.
I know that.
Yeah.
Hey, well, look, I can't close it out no better. So, from Fanaysha White. Big PJR,
Spain like a country. We're going to pass the plate around in a minute.
This is the Informal Podcast, because they said when two or more come together in his presence. So that's what's happening in here. Welcome to the Informal Church. That's what we had today.
Where's the Kleenex at?
Hey, man. Hey, look. That's why we created this space. Because
that's right.
I feel like these conversations in our community are more than needed.
Right.
So, again, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Check us out on all social media platforms. Run those numbers up. Check out the lovely sister, Fanaysha White, and all her businesses as well. Get your credit right. Get your money right. Check out my man Spain Like the Country on all platforms as well. Yes, On God, Motivation, the clothing brand. Shop today when faith meets fashion.
That's right.
And we'll see y'all next time. Peace, kinfolk. Have a blessed one.
Peace.
All right. Appreciate it.
That was so amazing.
That's all.
Yeah, man. 50 turns, man. It's a good thing. I feel good. You know, I'm still doing this thing. I got a clean bill of health, folks. You know, no doctor's orders. Yeah. We do this thing. Check it out. 500, long time coming. 100 miles and running, loving what I'm becoming. Would likely be get like me in the hallway. Long way from the lunchroom and crush groove. Through my struggle bubble like hot fluid.